Okay, we're going to move into our seminar today. And our seminar is provided by the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration. And they're here to discuss safety. I know everybody here pretty much books motor coaches and basically have three criterias on the top of your list: price, price, and price. Well, today our seminar will discuss safety and how you can make a more informed decision when you're buying your motor coaches. So would you please help me welcome Greg Nemmons, Transportation Specialist for the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Good to see you. I want to start out by saying I'm not embarrassed. I just got a whole week's worth of sun yesterday, so my face looks a little red. That's what that's about. But as Joe mentioned, we always look forward to this opportunity when we come out to the Group Travel Family conferences, because we get the chance to share with you something that can virtually save lives, and I hope I've got your attention. So if you'll indulge me for just the next 10 minutes, I can help you learn how to fish, if you will. Okay, the idea here is that I want to teach you, first of all, inspire you to come to our website, get the free information that we have, so that you can avail yourselves of that information when you're making these important decisions about different motor coach carrier operations that you might want to hire. Now, the presentation regarding other countries was wonderful, and I'd love to get there myself. The limitations of our regulatory authority with my agency are the United States. That does, however, extend to Canada and Mexico when they come into the United States to provide operation services within the United States. So just to clear the air on that one. So the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration is an agency of the United States Department of Transportation. And so what we want to do is talk to you about the things that are at stake, a little bit about who we are and what we do, and then finally, and more importantly, what you can do and should do in terms of looking before you book every trip, every time. All right, so you spend an awful lot of time, and that's great, looking through different options of destinations and places to go, things to do, places to eat, and ultimately a way to get there, right? And when that choice is by way of motor coach carrier operation, we wonder how much time you're spending doing the due diligence of checking things out regarding that operation. Things like whether they have the authority to be operating. How much insurance do they have? And does that meet the federal requirement? And is it up to date? And then other things like, how are they doing on maintaining their vehicles or keeping their records in shape, and their overall operation, and their drivers and their health and safety? All right. So the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration has a number of different regulatory authorities over freight, household goods, hazardous materials, but the most precious commodity are human cargo passengers, and that's where you come in. All right, so we have three simple tenets at the FMCSA: compliance, safety, and accountability. We make carriers comply by raising the bar to get into the industry. If you want to enter into the operation of transporting passengers around, then it doesn't matter if you have a single vehicle in your fleet or 2,000. The rules apply to each and every carrier operation the same. Safety and its requirements regarding that operation, the record keeping, the vehicles, and the drivers are all a part of our regulations. Under authority of the Congress, we write those regulations. And then our enforcement brothers and sisters in the state and local law enforcement agencies collect that data during roadside stops and compile that and send it to a central database that we collect. So all of this information becomes part of what you'll avail yourself of when you come to our website. And then lastly, the accountability. We provide operating authority, and we can also take it away. Kind of the atom bomb there. We don't like to do that, but when it happens, carriers can get back into operation once they verify that their records and their housekeeping and vehicles and drivers are back in order and meet regulatory requirements. All right, and so there's a couple of ways this happens. You may have seen on the roadside people being pulled over, and certainly on rare occasion a freight or even a bus. And again, that relates to work with the local law enforcement organizations to collect those data. And so a vehicle can be taken out of service without closing down the whole operation, or maybe just the driver. Maybe he or she has gone over their allowable hours of service in driving that vehicle. So the vehicle can't go down the road again until the carrier sends another driver without violating the hours of service. It's things like that. But we also go to the carrier operation itself, and we look at the books, we look at the vehicles, we do a random inspection of driver records. And all of those things are recorded in what we call the Behavior Analysis and Safety Improvement, or improvement categories, pardon me, the acronym BASICS, okay? So what you're looking for is sort of at the bottom of this page. You'll be presented with this information when you come to our website. For instance, something that stands right out is vehicle maintenance. All right, so you see the orange triangle. That just tells you that during the course of a 2-year period, in all of the stops or visits at their carrier operation or inspections of their vehicles, drivers, and whatnot, there have been sufficient numbers of issues with vehicle maintenance that have not been addressed or repaired timely or correctly. So that's sort of a red flag, but again, it doesn't place them out of operation. You want to think about things like the registration of the organization and the insurance. Those things can place a carrier out of service until they are corrected. If a vehicle has 16 or more passengers, including drivers, and every single motor coach does, then that carrier operation needs to have $5 million worth of insurance on file. Our website will show you exactly how much is required, how much they have on file, and that is to the day when you go in to take a look. All right. So I was saying that we also visit their operation, and this just sort of an illustration of what that might look like. We look at their records, et cetera. There's 3 flavors, if you will, of their authority to operate. Satisfactory means everything's going fine. The vehicles, maintenance, records, drivers, they're all up to snuff. Conditional might mean that there have been a few instances that have raised a little bit of a red flag, but they're still legally entitled to operate and provide your contract service for you. But if you find that it's listed as unsatisfactory, that carrier is not allowed legally to operate that vehicle. So if you have a contract with them, they ought to be working with you to find an alternative. And certainly that's something that you can avail yourself of on our website to find other carriers that are fitting the bill, as it were, and meeting the safety requirements. All right, so the moral of the story is the thing that you need to do. It's to come to our website and look before you book and find this information that we're describing. My associate is with me today, Brian Ronk, and he and I will be coming around and doing some of the visits with you, but we also have a booth, so please come by and pick up some of the information so that you can familiarize yourself with some of the material that we've talked about today. I know it's a lot of stuff. We used to have an app for your mobile devices, but as technology and times change, so do we. And so the information on our website is even richer and provides some of the things that the search engine in the mobility devices did not allow for. So we encourage you to come to the website. You can simply enter "look before you book" or Google it, whatever is easier for you, and it should bring you right to the appropriate link. All right, and so some of the things you can do now with this, I've got about a minute and a half here, so I'm going to speed it along, but we can tell you more about this. If you know the carrier, you can search by carrier name, or better still, US DOT number. And if you don't know and you just want to research the possibilities of different types of carriers, you can do so. Well, that illustrates when you know the carrier, but on the right-hand side, you can select the size of vehicle you're looking for, the zip code, and it returns for you the list of all the registered carriers in that zip code area. So you don't even have to know who they are. This will tell you who they are. Then you go to the right for pay dirt, and that tells you the safety information of the carriers and takes you to the information we talked about. If they're satisfactory, conditional, unsat, at the bottom, how they're doing with their basics. And then, as promised, the licensing and insurance amounts over on the right link, okay? So that's an illustration of the page about the insurance. I know that's hard to see and everything, but the point is it's up to the day. We're the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration. We hope that if you have any questions, you come see us, and we'll be happy to help you and learn how to avail yourself of this safety information that can literally save lives. I want to thank you for your time, and please get in touch if you have any questions. I've got a short little movie for you. It's about 2 minutes long and kind of reiterates what we went over. Thanks.